Let's see. Okay. Wonderful. And as the co-host, I can still share my screen, right? I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah, cool.
Okay,
Perfect.
good. I didn't mean to butt you out of the host position.
No, I don't mind. I'll give you all that power.
Okay, all right.
So then this gives us 3 minutes and we will let everybody start trickling in. Hopefully everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. This whole week has just been a blur. I have to constantly keep thinking about what day it is.
Same.
Oh.
In our meeting this morning, someone had said happy Monday and I panicked. I was like, how did I miss that? Took me a minute.
Yeah, I don't want it to be Monday. I'm glad it's Wednesday. I wish it was Friday, but you know.
Like, yeah, holiday weekends.
I know. Perfect. So it looks like quite a few people have been joining us, which is fantastic. We've got 2 more minutes before we will go live with our presentation. I am going to do one thing. Need to bring this one in and this one. Not the right build territory. I'm ready for the sunshine to come back. For anybody who's listening to my banter before the video starts, ready for the sun. Ready.
I think when we met for this last week, you had like a beautiful sunny day.
Did not anymore.
It's gone.
It's been gone for a couple of days.
Danny has joined.
Oh, how fun. One more minute and then we'll kind of get this show on the road to watch our beautiful custom home. This one was a fun project, so excited to show it off. All right, and with that, it is 12 p.m. So we will go ahead and get going. First, a little item that we like to share at the beginning of these is we do like for these presentations to be very heavy on the participation. We love answering your questions in real time. All that we ask is for this virtual showing that we utilize the Q&A section on the Zoom call versus the chat. The chat is just a little laggy, so we don't get those questions in real time. If we use the Q&A, my co-host Katie, she's monitoring that. So as your questions come through, we will answer those throughout the presentation. And so first we'll start with some quick little introductions. So for me, my name is Sarah. I am a homeownership counselor out of our Woodland, Washington branch. I service all of Southwest Washington along with a couple of Oregon counties. And so I have a very large build territory and I even dabble in the coast a little bit, which is nice.
And I am Katie Smith. I'm a homeownership counselor out of Adair's Creswell office, which is like mid Willamette Valley over to the coast and then south down to Roseburg.
Perfect. And so for today, we're going to be showing a custom home. I'm going to start us out on the website because for this particular project, the vision did start with one of our standard houses, and then we expanded on it from there to make the design exactly what our customers wanted. But first, we've got a beautiful financing promotion that we're running right now. It has been very popular and it is a very large game changer for a lot of our customers. So we are running a 30-year fixed conventional mortgage at 4.875, which is huge. So if you've met with a homeownership counselor, if you haven't yet, and you have questions around that, feel free to reach out. Our website is very user friendly. So naturally from our website, you are able to look through all of our floor plans as well as all of the pricing for our floor plans, as well as pricing. So that's always really nice if you kind of have a good idea for what square footage you're looking for, want to understand what that cost per square foot is. You can find all of that on our website. We are very transparent. So for today, with the custom home, like I alluded to, it did start from one of our standard designs. And that standard design would be our Josephine floor plan. So our Josephine floor plan is going to start at 2,382 square feet. This plan offers 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, as well as a den/office space on this floor plan. This one has a base price that starts just shy of 419,000. And this floor plan is one of just a couple that we offer that automatically have a 3-car garage built into the design of the home. So for these particular customers that we're going to be showing their home today, they needed to have a multi-generational project, which I'm not sure about Katie, but has become very popular in my particular branch. So the scenario for these customers is that the husband's mom needed to move in with them and be housed under the same roof. So we took the time to design a beautiful space for the family, the husband and wife and their kids, as well as the husband's mom. And we did so in a way that allows her to still have her independence and her lifestyle, but also just a hop, skip, and a jump away from anybody who she might need. So that's always really nice. We have a handful of different ways we can go about a multi-generational home here at Adair. We can do attached ADUs, detached ADUs, can do a house with several primary suites. So depending on the lifestyle you're looking to live in that multi-generational home, just about anything can be accomplished for us. So this is how that floor plan started. And what we'll do now is we'll take a look at the actual blueprint for the home that we're going to be touring today. So very similar in the sense that we did maintain all the garage space and we actually made it just a little bit bigger. Not much, just a little bit. There's some trucks involved, and so that's always a little tricky to get into a smaller garage. So we expanded that just a little bit. And we did maintain on the main home a 3 bedroom plus an office space. So the primary suite on this plan is quite large. It is 15 by 18. You know, plenty of space for a king size bed, couple of end tables, dog beds, you know, reading nook, really whatever you enjoy. Full ensuite with a 5-piece primary bath. So 5-piece for us is going to signify that the tub is independent of the walk-in shower, which is always nice to have those 2 units independent of one another. And then we've maintained 1 bedroom here. So from we saw on the website, this was the previous office space. We did convert this to a full bedroom just to have the bedrooms maintained at a really good size. So we're 12 by 10 on this one. And then our second bedroom is over here tucked behind the kitchen. And that bedroom's going to be 11 by 11. So also really good size. The mom for this project does work from home occasionally, but she didn't need a very big space. So we did introduce this storage that she is likely going to use as an office, but also for other hobbies that she enjoys. So that is what this space is for. Beautiful dining room on this plan, as well as a nook space. So if you enjoy formal entertaining and have the need for a large dining room to gather as a family, this plan does offer that. But it also offers a little bit more like usable space in regards to a nook. So breakfast nook, a little table, if you aren't always entertaining, XYZ. Our open concept in the body of this home that's very popular for most of our designs. We did introduce a pantry. So this floor plan on the website itself doesn't offer a pantry as it sits. It was very important to them that we had something like this. So we did add a corner pantry into the kitchen. And then for us, the utility room. So the utility room on this floor plan is how they will segue from unit to unit. It was very important to them to not have a direct access from the main home into the ADU suite that was attached. They wanted to be able to maintain some privacy between these two. And so grandma who's living in this ADU is able to park her car in this bay of the garage, walk in through the utility room, and then go into her suite. And then if she wants to come into the main house, then she'll come in through the utility room to then enter into the main house and vice versa. This ADU is a really good size. We can make these to be customized for any footprint that you're particularly looking for, but the ADU as it sits on this plan is 1,088 square feet. So really good size. We're gonna have a full kitchen in this ADU and another nook. So another place for a dining room table. We've got a living room, pantry, we have a half bath, which is quite unique. I hadn't done this before on an ADU, so that was fun. We have an office space. The person residing in this unit likes to collect Coca-Cola and Budweiser memorabilia. So she needed a space for that, which is cool. Really good sized bedroom. So we're 13 by 15 on this bedroom here in the ADU with a full private bath, just specific for that bedroom. And then from the outside, we're gonna get a good look. This plan offers a full exterior entrance into the ADU that is independent of the main entrance of the house. So if people are coming over and they just want to come visit with whoever resides in this unit, they can, and they don't have to go through the main house, which is always nice. So there's that other layer of independence for the project.
Sarah,
Perfect.
I'm curious, had they added the ADU without reconfiguring the original floor plan? Would it have been considered a custom project or would it have just gone down the standard path?
If they would have added our standard ADU, because we do have a ADU that is 512 square feet. She kind of hides on our website, but you can find it in the popular options drop down. And then you see an attached studio here. So this studio can be added to any one of our floor plans and it doesn't have to take the custom path. No.
Uh,
But once we start to expand and really customize an ADU to be specific for the project, that then leans towards the custom because of all the engineering needed to make sure the roof lines are correct and those more minute details.
Makes sense.
Mhm. Perfect. And then for anybody else, feel free to put your questions in the chat. We're going to go ahead and segue over to the video now. But definitely feel free to ask any questions that you might have, and we'll take several moments throughout the video to pause and work through those questions for you. So this is the front of the house, and I'm gonna kind of leave it paused for just a second because this is that 3-car garage that we noted was in the middle of these 2 units. So naturally on the left side over here, we have the main house where the family will reside, mom and dad and the children. And then on the right side in this space over here, like we saw on the blueprints, this is the ADU portion of the house. So you've also got a little design difference on the front to tell which unit is which and those different things. Okay, beautiful piece of property. These customers are up in the hillsides here in Longview, Washington on 40 acres. So definitely very private, very beautiful view, which we'll see. I'm gonna pause it right here for just a minute. So one of the focal points for this project was capturing their view, which we can see outside these windows here. So this particular plan is offering what we would call a modified vault line. So this vault line is going through the plan front to back versus going with the plan left to right. We can do this on a handful of our plans, but what I will say is not every plan can house a vault like this. It depends on how it is set up in regards to the great room, kitchen, in relation to like bedrooms and things. So if this is something you see and you really like, just ask about it. If you're working with a homeownership counselor, bring it up, because not every plan can house this. We're also seeing a beautiful wood stove in this particular house. So this question comes up a lot. We can do just about any kind of fireplace you're thinking about. We can do a gas fireplace. We can do a wood burning stove like we're seeing here. We can do wood burning inserts that become part of the wall on the home. And we can also do pellet stoves. So if you've got a specific type that you'd like to see in your house, it is not a problem for us. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna segue down into the first bedroom that sat at the front of the house. This is that bedroom that was 12 by 10 square feet. The closet's just around the corner. Not sure if we're gonna sneak in there. You're gonna see a handful of, paper and tape and all those things. When we get to a home stretch of a project, we are going to do final walkthroughs with our customers. We want to ensure the quality of the home, ensure the accuracy, and make sure that everything is in a great spot for them to move in. So we do work very closely with the customers within the last couple of weeks of their home finishing up, just to make sure we're identifying any things that need to be touched up or any little details that need to get taken care of before they move into the house. So that is why you'll see this in a handful of spots. All of these items are addressed before the customer moves in. So naturally we just work through all of the tape that we see and all of those items. That was our half bath. That pedestal sink is standard in any half bath. If you prefer a full cabinet base, that can be a change. That's not a problem. As we can see, very open concept on this plan, which is always great. I'm going to pause it right here and touch on a few things. This particular kitchen island has been opted for a rectangle on the design today, but if any customer ever wanted to go back to the triangle shape for this island, that's not a problem. That can be dropped into this plan with no issues. We are seeing that corner pantry. That's what we're looking at right here. This was created on the plan for the customer's request. And we're also seeing a beautiful gourmet kitchen appliance package. So we have appliances in the base price of our homes. Those would be like a dishwasher, a microwave hood vent. We've got an electric cooktop range as a combo unit. But we also have other packages that customers can switch to if they prefer. So this gourmet kitchen would offer wall-mounted ovens along with a wall-mounted microwave, which is always nice if you don't prefer it to be above your stove. And then you've got a drop-in 5-burner cooktop. We can do this in both gas and electric, not a problem. This particular house is showcasing the electric. So this is a very low profile glass cooktop here, and then the standalone hood vent that's going to be up above. We're also seeing a beautiful Naughty Alder cabinet package. So this is our Naughty Alder in our clear stain. Offers a very sort of rustic country chic vibe to the home, especially partnered with this white countertop. It looks really good. And so we have all different types of cabinets, painted, wood stain, wood grain, like we're seeing in this particular house. So that can all be customized for your home. They want you to go up for something. There's an arrow on the wall there. Okay, so now with this one, we are now going into the primary suite. So this being that 15 by 18. So quite large on this bedroom. A lot of space for activities, some could say. I'm gonna rewind just real quick. So sorry. Okay, I'll pause it. So they did add some decorative windows, I guess is the best way to put it. These windows sit up high so they can let in the natural light, but you can't necessarily see through them, which is always nice if you have neighbors. And then there's two, we just quite can't see the other one. I'm sure we'll get another view, but essentially their bed is going to sit center, and then they'll have their two end tables that will sit directly underneath those windows. which is always a nice touch. And we can get it down to the exact distance that needs to be between those. That's not a problem. On any of our plans that come with that 5-piece master that we touched on earlier, the tub being independent from the shower, we're going to include this drop-in soaker tub. This is standard, and then it is going to have a tile surround. This customer did opt for a little bit different of a tile than what's in our base price, but at the end of the day, they only paid $26 for all of this tile. So not a big change when it comes to changing out the color, which is always nice. They did decide to keep the walk-in fiberglass shower, so no tile shower on this home, which is okay. They actually prefer fiberglass for the ease of cleaning. They don't enjoy grout or any of the other things. So it's always a customer preference on what you'd like to see in your home, and which is not a problem. Oh, kind of. Oh, there's the other window. It came and gone. They also have a beautiful window looking out on their view, which is nice as well. This plan offers that primary and that great room on the back side of the house. So if you do have a view property and you want both of those spaces to capture that, it can. This is her office and also her craft room. So this is where she'll have her office desk, and also her other knickknacks that she enjoys, which is right across the way from a full bath. So for us, all of our plans will come with 2 baths. We don't have any that doesn't. I'm sad we don't go in. If we would have went into this space, what is offered in here is the toilet, which we can see, but around the corner is a fiberglass tub shower combo, so a single piece, and no seam on that, so no need for any silicone caulking or anything like that. And then it's wonderful because it offers a door there. So if you have children or you've got multiple guests over, you can't allow for somebody to be taking a shower and close that door and lock it independently, which is always nice, while somebody else is brushing their teeth. So. And then this is the second bedroom. This is the bedroom that is 11 by 11, so also really good size. Something I'll point out really quick because I feel like the lighting is really nice in here. We do all interior and exterior painting in the base price of our homes. And for us, we have preset schemes that we offer our customers to choose from. So the paint that we're seeing throughout the interior of this house is one of our standard schemes, and it actually accents their home really nicely because they went with a lot of gray tones. And then this is just a very nice neutral gray on the walls. And then we also will have gray on the outside of the house. Very large utility room. So a part of the reason why we didn't just opt to put the ADU on the side of the house is they also had some pretty specific things that they wanted. Oh, I'm going to rewind. Okay, pretty specific things. So this is a really big utility room. Like I mentioned earlier, they're on 40 acres. They wanted a space where they could have, a large sort of drop zone for working out on the property, a utility sink to be able to wash up, but also extra storage to keep things in. And then they also wanted to be able to introduce like a secondary fridge and freezer in this space as well. So we were able to sort of modify that to give them the space that they wanted to see all that infrastructure. Perfect. I'm going to pause it here. So as we can see, we just entered the ADU. So we were just in the utility room, which acts as the segue from the main home to the accessory dwelling unit. And so the kitchen we're looking at now looks different and has different cabinets. So when we do a project like this where we have 2 units attached to each other, they can be independently customized from each other, which is nice. You don't have to go with the same design features for both the main home and the ADU. So she was able to come into this space and specify certain things that she would like to see in her home that are different from the main house. Really good sized kitchen. Do we have a question?
We have a couple questions.
Perfect.
About paint, interior paint, do they need to pick from one of our schemes or can they do a custom scheme?
So you don't need to pick from our standards, but that's what's in the base price. So if you would like to do a custom color palette, you can. It's just there'll be a cost associated with that because all of the current schemes we offer, those are purchased in bulk. So you get a better price for those. If we were to alter to a custom scheme, we can do it. We just have to pay retail. So you'll just pay the cost difference between what's already included for paint versus what we need to spend on your project.
Makes sense. And then you might have already mentioned this, but it seems like this might have been ordered before our most recent spec change.
Mhm.
Will you point out the things that are now standard as you're
Mhm.
talking? Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, for us, we made a change to the products that we include in the base price of our homes. And some of those changes aren't necessarily huge, but they have a big impact on, the overall visual of the house. So, for example, like this door that we're looking at right here, this is a 6-panel interior door. We don't offer this door anymore. We have brought a facelift to the doors and it is now a 2-panel square door. Just looks a little bit more clean cut, better angles. The other thing that we're seeing here is a trim. So these customers did stay with the standard trim at the time, which was a 2¼ colonial trim. Sort of had a beveled edge on it. Our new trim that we offer standard in the base price of our houses is a craftsman trim or a modern trim if you prefer that sort of mitered 45-degree angle at the seams. Or if you like the look of like a thicker header and that sort of clean cut angled of the Craftsman, both of those are options to you. Something else that I touch on that we see in this house that wasn't necessarily standard is can lights. So we always had can lights standard in our kitchen spaces, but nowhere else. And can lights, people love them. I mean, who doesn't like good lighting? So now we have can lights standard in our great rooms. We have can lights in utilities, hallways, everywhere in the house that a can light can go, it's there. The only light that we do maintain is like a circular dome light or a mushroom light. They all have all different names. Is in the bedrooms. And the reason why we do that is if we just opted for can lights in the bedrooms, sure, some people would like it. But if you ever wanted it like a ceiling fan in the future, the wiring from a can light to a ceiling fan is not easy. They're not compatible. They don't just transition. Whereas the wiring from a traditional dome light to a ceiling fan is spot on. So they're interchangeable. So we like to maintain things like that just in case customers want to make other modifications down the road. We're going to get a sneak peek. We do now have, sorry to pause again in the same spot. Quartz countertops are standard. We are seeing quartz throughout this whole entire house, so that was important to them. They did opt to include that upgrade in their overall project. But as of today, we do already have a quartz product standard in our houses, and that's in the whole home. And then the nice perk about that is then all of the sinks will become automatically undermounted in the base price as well. If I missed anything, Katie, feel free to let me know.
I did see the vinyl floor in the utility room.
Oh, yes. Yep. And we'll see it again in the bathroom. So we used to have a sheet vinyl standard in our wet areas. So our full bathrooms and our utility rooms. We have now transitioned that to a luxury vinyl tile product, which is really nice. It has the same size as a traditional tile. So it is 12 by 24 and it's an interlocking floor. So it has the aesthetic of a beautiful tile floor, but it's also a luxury vinyl product. So the price savings is always nice. And then we did choose to do no carpet in the ADU at all. This is all a luxury vinyl plank in this home. This is an absolutely gorgeous floor. And then there's the sheet vinyl. So we see it again here. So this is a product that we no longer install in our homes. We decided to take that quality up on that flooring just to the next tier, and introduce the luxury vinyl tile. In here, we're seeing a little bit different of a drop-in soaker tub. And that's just for ease as this grandma kind of gets a little bit older. They didn't want tile just in case they had to switch this tub out. And they didn't want the lip so big for some of the infrastructure that they'll introduce later. And then something that I'll point out, and I'll rewind just a tiny little bit, is we did grab bars. Okay, so this is always nice. We can put these inside the shower, we can put them around tubs, we can put them at toilet locations. The idea of aging in place is becoming really popular these days. So just making sure that certain infrastructure is there to be able to assist with that aging process is important to a handful of customers. Okay, we're gonna really zoom in on the tub. Okay, and we got another walk-in fiberglass shower, and then we've got the closet inside the bathroom as well on this ADU. And yeah, just wanted no carpet so that if a wheelchair is ever introduced in the future, anything like that, we were being mindful of it. And then to take it a step further, and I haven't pointed it out, but all of the doorways in this ADU are 3 feet wide. So we also made sure to make that modification as well to the wider doorways, just to assist with that aging in place over the years. And then this is the half bath that is offered in this ADU. So if she has guests over, they don't have to walk through her personal bedroom to get to the bathroom. And then this, I'm sure, as of today, is full of Coca-Cola and Budweiser memorabilia. That was the purpose of this room. When we had her custom designed meeting, because we have a whole team that assists with these homes, one of my draftsmen was fascinated with the fact that that's what she collects and was very intrigued. And then there's that really pretty vault from the outside. I'll replay the video, we'll get another peek of it. And then here is that secondary entrance that I talked about. So this is the main door to the ADU, which is independent from the front door of the actual house. We can see some trades, probably putting the final touches on the things. So what we'll do now, because I'm sure there's a handful of questions, what we like to do with this other portion is we're just going to continue to play this video in the background without pausing it so that you can continue to be watching it and watch it again in its entirety. And while we're playing the video, we're going to go ahead and answer all of your questions. So if you haven't put a question in yet that you have, please feel free to drop it in because we will be taking about the next 20 minutes just to address your questions.
Sarah, can Adair build to all ADA specs?
Yeah. Yes, so I have a customer that it's another custom. They haven't broke ground yet, but a similar situation. He is in the initial stages of MS and he is in a chair. So we did 0 threshold entry doors so that there's no lip on any of those doors inside and outside the house. We made sure to widen all the hallways and all the doorways. So all the hallways on their particular floor plan are 4 feet wide and all doors are 3 feet wide. We introduced grab bars in all those locations. We introduced a few locations where the cabinets are lower to assist with that ease. And we even are installing a grab bar built into the quartz countertop so that he can pull himself up to cook dinner. So really, I never have come across things where I have to tell a customer no. It just is, around your budget. We want to be mindful of that. And so if things are really important to you to have in the design of the house, we can absolutely capture it. Something I'm going to point out here. Super cool. I said I wasn't going to pause it. So sorry that I lied. So we can drill holes in the quartz. So if you want like a soap dispenser in the future that lives underneath your sink, or if you want specific things, For this customer, they wanted one of those really cool glass rinsing stations that like shoot up into your cups and clean them. So I just simply added, a 1/2 inch drilled hole in the quartz in this exact location. And now you're seeing that they have already installed that unit, which is pretty cool.
We have a lot of questions coming in.
Okay.
Um, there's some questions about the amount spent in upgrades on this house.
Okay. One thing I will say is in this particular house, there really wasn't a whole lot that we didn't touch, but they also were being mindful. So all in on their upgrades, they spent about 140,000 on their upgrades.
Okay.
Some of those have a larger ticket item than others. We touched on that vault when we first walked in the home. That is a modified vault, and those windows are beautiful. So for that modification to the plan, the vault plus all the windows, we did spend about 12,000 on that modification alone. So it's not that they went crazy with little things, but they had some very specific small, like other things that are important. And that wood burning stove, that on this particular plan with their rock and all the other stuff we had involved, that was about 16,000. So
Very nice. Roger noticed that the wall between the ADU and the house is a thicker wall. Would you mind telling us why?
yeah, that's a good observation, Roger. So when it comes to projects like this, we have to be mindful not only what the customer wants, but what the jurisdiction wants to see when it comes to a project. And there's two things in this house, and I did see one the first time we watched the video, so I'll pause it when we get into the ADU. But that thicker wall is a fire requirement for the project, okay? We now have two independent units sharing a wall. So what that is each unit has to have an individual fire break. So those are two 1 hour rated 5/8 sheetrock firewalls that are living between these two units.
We have a good question from Brenda. The final floor plan is significantly different than the original Josephine. Is it best to start with an existing Adair plan instead of starting from scratch?
So the only significant change would be the ADU itself and then how we modified that interaction between the two spaces. I'm trying to be mindful of what I'm watching, but try to capture because there's sprinklers in this house. That's the other thing that I'm trying to show us. So I'm trying to find a good spot to pause. Okay, there's one. Um, it offers a good building block for your budget if we're starting with an Adair plan and modifying it, because we already know the price for that plan. Of course, you can bring in anything. I have customers that buy plans off of the websites. I have customers who come up with these plans on a piece of paper on their own, or grid paper that's really popular, doing little grid paper houses. So it doesn't matter. There's no right way or wrong way. It just sometimes looking at our plans sparks vision for customers, and they simply want to build off of it rather than starting from scratch. And it really is based on what the customer is most comfortable with. I paused it here because if you weren't looking for them, you probably weren't noticing that there's these little circular pucks on the ceiling. So another requirement for local code on this house was we had to do fire sprinklers. That is a case by case, depending on your county and depending on the requirements. For us, we had one option to prevent them, but we couldn't get the rest of the neighbors on board. Because this customer's on 40 acres, they have an 8 mile long driveway that is shared with 8 other people. And if they wanted to get away from sprinklers, they had to install pull-out areas on that driveway all the way up to their house. And they couldn't get the other property owners on board. So at the end of the day, we did have to move forward with sprinklers on this project to meet code. And that's also because of the size of the house.
We have some good questions.
Mhm.
So I thought forced air came standard and I see a mini split. Will you explain this?
Yeah. So the forced air is standard on the main home, 100%. Okay, the mini split is for the ADU because we want those to be on independent heating and cooling systems, for, preference of the individuals living in the house. So the mini splits are just introduced on our ADUs because they are smaller. They don't need a full HVAC system to be able to heat and cool efficiently. If you were building an ADU and you preferred a full HVAC, we of course could do it. It'd be a little larger than you need, but we could do it. But the main home was on complete HVAC forced air unit.
Okay, we have some good questions kind of segueing into site development.
Okay.
So if we want to build an ADU with our house, will Adair help us make sure we are compliant with the jurisdiction?
Yes. We
And
asked.
will Adair help with the permitting?
Yes. So I'm gonna say, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like the context of this is that they're wanting to build an independent ADU on their property.
It doesn't really specify. I think maybe
Okay.
house and an
Either
ADU.
way, perfect. Either way, yeah, so um, we will assist with that. When it comes to the permitting, we also assist with that. I believe all of our branches have the PAs fully live. Yeah, so yes, we do all the permits for you. When it comes to understanding the jurisdiction and those regulations, we will carry most of the lifting. Some jurisdictions require customers to interact with them versus entities. So in those situations, like this particular jurisdiction did require me to lean on the customer for one thing that I physically could not do for them. I, of course, filled everything out and politely said, can you please turn this in? But it had to come from them. In this particular county, there's a planning clearance that's needed and it needs to be approved prior to building permits being submitted, and only the customers can apply for that. So we did all the work, but then they had to sign and deliver it to the county. But we're here to assist 100%. You can lean on us. We help with the land development. We help with the permitting. We really are set up to be full service.
Um, does this property have a well and does Adair install wells?
Yes and yes. So the one thing I'll say, and the reason why I paused, so Katie and myself, we are from two branches that are fully live with a program called Site Services. However, not every Adair branch has this program as of today. They will have this program within the next year, but not today. So for me, if you were going to build a house in Southwest Washington, or if you were to build a house down in Katie's area, we would come out and we would do a full evaluation on your property. And we would put together a full bid packet based on everything your property needs to house a home. And then we are going to install all that infrastructure. So we install the well, we'll install the septic, we'll install your driveway, your power. We take care of all utility trenching, backfill. I mean, you name it, building permits, like we just touched on with the last question, we're gonna do it all.
Randomly, my well driller is actually part of the audience of this virtual, so
Oh, well,
yeah.
shout out.
Okay, so we have from Roger, what is the difference between luxury vinyl tile and luxury vinyl plank?
Perfect. It's just the look. So a luxury vinyl tile and luxury, they're made out of the same material, but the tile, of course, has the aesthetic of a 12 by 24 tile looking floor. Whereas the luxury vinyl plank is meant to mirror a wood style floor, a plank style interlocking. Same material, same warranties, same quality, just is the difference in aesthetic of how that product looks.
Okay, and from Brenda, when you mentioned the 140K upgrades, were you including the ADU?
So when we do a custom home like this, their ADU was built into the base price of their home. So the ADU wasn't seen as an upgrade. It is 100% part of the home and was priced accordingly. So when we do a custom home, we didn't go with the Josephine and add the ADU. We priced it all as a whole. And so that upgrade total doesn't include the ADU because for them that ADU was in the base price. So we can see what the price for the Josephine was on the website, okay, at the standard square footage. We know that these customers added 1,088 square feet to the plan, which is the ADU. So their base price came out to 563,000. That was their price of the home. And then all upgrades were then added once we had established the price for the overall structure. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Katie? Or did,
That made sense to me.
okay.
We'll see, Brenda, if that didn't clear it up, let me know. Okay.
What I'll say is the reason why we
Yeah.
do that is because we can't, an ADU like this isn't an upgrade that you would just walk away from typically. And we need to do the, it's all part of the same roof line. So we would build it into the base price versus letting it just be something that can come and go. Because if the ADU went, then the rest of the house would have to change again.
That makes sense. Switching gears a tiny bit. Do we know how long we will have access to the 4.8 promo rate? What if they're almost ready to order, but they're not quite ready?
Okay, that's a great question. So the 4.875, it's tricky on that one for us to know if it's going to be extended or not. With a promo like that, we are paying to buy down that rate as a company. And so it's very hard to be proactive. Ultimately, we can only be reactive. And so we only know once we get towards the end of the month of how much that rate promo cost for this month. How many deals did we go through? How much did that cost? Can we afford to do it for another month? And so that decision always gets made at the very end of the month, unfortunately. But if you are ready to just about pull the trigger, there is a deposit, a refundable deposit that you can put down that would lock you in for that interest rate and would then give you 60 days to continue down the path. And we would still honor that 4.875 for your project. So there are ways that you could go about locking that in today if you know that you're going to be ready in like the next 2 weeks or so. Or next month or 2 months.
Or 2 months.
Yeah, 60 days. Yeah.
That's it. That's all the questions.
Well, perfect. And then we're gonna keep letting it play through. This was a great plan. It was fun to do. Custom homes, they just come with a lot of details, which is always fun because we can do it as specifically to the way you want to see it. This is a gorgeous piece of property. They built this shop over here. It's behind us now. Why this project was happening, but custom homes, especially like this, are very rewarding. Perfect. Well, with that, if we have no other questions, I can go ahead and give everybody back the rest of their Wednesday morning. One thing I will say is we do have another virtual next week. So if you're interested, or let's say more questions come up that you want to be able to like pop on and ask, you could always join us again next week. It will be me and Katie again. We're taking over your media. And we have another virtual on the 29th of a Blakely floor plan. So that would be a single family home. It's a beautiful one-story house at 2,226 square feet. So that one is really gorgeous as well and was built in Brush Prairie, which is a very popular area in my build territory.
I love the Blakely. I'm excited for that one.
It is one of my favorites.
Mhm.
That will be my house one day.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. And then we'll take a video of it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, I hope everybody has a great day. And thank you everybody for joining us. Perfect.